What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Fantasy Endgame Week 17 post-game edition, or at least mostly post-game. We still got the night game, and of course, there's Monday night. But look, as of right now, I think a lot of you either know or are almost sure whether you've got a fantasy championship in hand or you're already planning ahead for next year. All right, we're going to do some instant reaction. We always talk about when start sit for tonight. Look, if you do have a start sit question, maybe that's still pending for tonight's game, or probably more likely for the Bengals and Bills. Drop it. We will definitely answer all of those start sit questions, but let's also post those dubs, and we'll take the L's too. And I'll start with a pretty big one, but first, a couple of reminders, as we always do, guys. You want to join us, we do our live shows, and we're going to keep doing them in Week 18 because I know some of you still play in Week 18. We've heard you talk about maybe you do a 2-week final or you just play up until the end. We're still here for you. We're going to do our live show Tuesday night. We're going to do our live show Saturday night for Start Sit. Hit the notification bell and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already so you know when we go live. Also, check out our videos, still doing Start Sit. Those will be interesting, won't they, for Week 18? We'll see what that's like.
Yeah.
And you can also join us several ways. If you check the description, Patreon, Discord, did it. And of course, you can get your fantasy in-game merch and celebrate, show everyone if we did help you get to a title. Hopefully we did. Bearclothing.org. You can get your fantasy in-game shirt. All right. So let's start, I think, with the very first and most obvious thing, Tampa Bay. I will just say, I just want to get this out of the way. Sorry, I just have to get this out of the way. I was wrong on Mike Evans, and I wasn't just wrong. I was very wrong because, he basically single-handedly won some people their leagues. Not me, because I have him on my bench, because I'm a man of my word. I said I wouldn't start him. I didn't start him. He's on my bench. I have 48 points on my bench. I still might win that matchup. We'll see. But anyways, Chris, how do you explain that a guy who hadn't scored a single touchdown since week 4 and had 3 all season matched his total and just completely annihilated fantasy when he had done nothing for 10 straight weeks?
Well, I mean, I wasn't on our start sit yesterday, of course, but this morning on the Patreon, we had a question from Roberto, and one of the guys was Mike Evans. And if you recall, I said I kind of like Mike Evans this week. They're getting 2 of their offensive linemen back. JC Horn is out. He destroys the Panthers. Now, I didn't say I think he's a must start. He's going to go for 203. But I kind of liked Mike Evans this week. I mean, yes, of course, it was very risky because of what he's done lately. But I think the thing I was more encouraged about was that they were getting a couple of their offensive linemen back. And that gave me some confidence that Brady would have time to throw deep. And he did. He had time to throw deep, and we saw the results. So, yeah.
We did see the results. So look, if you started Mike Evans, congratulations. If you didn't, I hope it's not because you listened to me. If you sat Mike Evans and you lost because of my advice, go ahead and just send me a DM. I'll cover the cost of whatever you would have won. Limits apply, though, of course, nothing over $100. But anyways, that was a huge one. Look, I thought Tom Brady might have a good game because, they had to win. Tom Brady is still Tom Brady, right? When he needs to pull it out.
Yeah.
And man, he was almost better, I think, more important than Evans. He went for 432, 3, and he ran in a touchdown. I think he was arguably better than Evans as far as fantasy goes. So.
What do you? Yeah.
400, I think it was something like that. Anyways. Let's also talk about this Niners game, which just barely, did it even end yet? Is it over finally?
It's over. Niners won in overtime. Jarrett Stidham crashed back down to earth, threw an interception in overtime that they ran down to the 2, and they kicked the field goal.
There were some legit concerns about Josh Jacobs, and he didn't have a great game. Only 69 yards in the ground. He did get in the end zone, so he was still a decent start. We didn't say he was a complete must start, so I was worried, and he wasn't great. But what about Devontae Adams, who was just terrible for 3 weeks in a row, and everyone thought he was going to cost you your championship, and now, man, I hope you didn't bench Devontae Adams.
Yeah, with Jarrett Stidham against the who saw that? I think everybody had the Niners as the number 1 or number 2 defense this week, and then they get lit up by Jarrett Stidham. It's week 7. Every week in the NFL is crazy, and week 17 is no exception. Just some some crazy games, crazy fantasy performances. Yeah.
I mean, this is definitely one of those weeks where the underdogs just came out and wrecked things. Philly lost. Just lost. They didn't even put up much of a fight.
No.
They only put up 10 points with Gardner Minshew. I think it's safe to say Gardner Minshew maybe not as good as Jalen Hurts, maybe.
Yeah. After that Dallas game, there's a lot of people saying, like, see, it's just a system. It's just a system. I think it's obvious it's not just a system. And, Gardner Minshew, I was talking about this in the Discord, Gardner Minshew and Mike White might have just played themselves out of a potential starting job next year because Gardner Minshew was kind of auditioning for the rest of the NFL, right? Like, hey, I can still, like, you're desperate at quarterback. I could be pretty good. And after today, I think you might have to think, well, maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe a little too many turnovers, not enough goodness.
Yeah, no goodness.
Speaking of not too good, Kirk Cousins in games that matter. I mean, we knew, look, everyone, it's not a secret. Like, Vikings are massively overrated as far as their record goes, the point differential, what. But look, Kirk Cousins, he just came out and laid an egg. I mean, that they didn't just lose. They didn't even had a chance. And so, along with, he decided to drag down the number one player in all of fantasy with him. And yes, JJ cost probably a lot of people their championships, Chris. My condolences. I know you have a lot of Jefferson, which was really, really good for the first 16 weeks of the season.
Yeah. I was in 7 leagues this year. I had made 5 finals out of the 7. Had Jefferson on 3 of them. Yeah. You probably know how those turned out. Yeah. Don't probably have to tell you how those are going to turn out.
But look, this is how it goes. The guys who carry your team all year, number one player at their position even, can just put up these duds. Look, Saquon Barkley, another guy.
Oh.
How is it that the New York Football Giants score, was it 38 points, and somehow Saquon Barkley not only doesn't score any of those touchdowns, but doesn't even crack. He didn't even crack double digits, I think, in fantasy, did he?
Didn't even get 8. So I have another team with Justin Jefferson and Saquon Barkley, and they got me 9.8 combined. Like that's like half of a quarter for those guys normally. But yeah, I mean, I remember I was watching in the beginning. It was like first Richie James, I think, scored a touchdown. Then Isaiah Hodgins, and I'm like, and then the defense got a pick 6, and I'm like, okay, this is actually good.
That's good
because now they're just gonna pound it with Saquon. And he was running well, right? He was ripping off big runs, like 5 yards, 10 yards. It wasn't like he was bad today. He was great. And I'm like, they're just going to pound it with Saquon. He's getting all these touchdowns. And then instead it was Daniel Jones from like 20 yards out. Daniel Jones from 10 yards out. I'm like, this is just like, yeah, it's just the worst possible timing for Daniel Jones to decide to run for like whatever he ran for today. It's ridiculous.
I think that was probably even more aggravating that they did get rushing touchdowns from the quarterback, Daniel Jones, running it in. Yeah, and then you're rooting for him to like be ruled out at the 1 yard line. No.
Yes. You're like, are you sure he was in? Review it. I think he was out.
Like if you had a challenge flag in your pocket at home, you're throwing it at the TV. You're like,
so bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, it could work in your favor. It's cryptic. 1, because your opponent had JJ and Lawrence, even though Jacksonville smashed. It wasn't the passing game. Go figure. Jacksonville's been like that all year. You really never know what to expect. And Lawrence has been really good, but he didn't really need to throw the ball. So surprisingly, they actually didn't. Casey, Condi, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I think, like I was just saying, pretty sure the Mike White train has left the station. It's not coming back. So yeah, we got to just hope that Garrett Wilson gets a real QB next year.
Oh, I can just hear the New York media talking of sports talk. And the Jets fans all offseason, who's going to be the quarterback next year? Is it going to be Jimmy Garoppolo? Is it going to be Derek Carr? Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers? Are we going to draft somebody? Look, at this point, anybody would be an upgrade, I think. So
yes.
All right, so let's see. Let's get some. I think this is a W. Trigger Trey. always with us. Only down a point. You got Diggs. You got Tyler Bass. It definitely looks like a championship is coming your way. Awesome. Congrats.
Even if Diggs is as bad as Jefferson, you'll still win. So I think you're good.
Yeah. Pretty hard to get negative points from those guys. Let's see. Question here. Dylan, Burrow for 27.
I mean, it's within the range. It's, you're definitely going to be sweating tomorrow. You're going to be sweating. He's going to need to have a huge game.
Doable. It's a bit much, but it's doable.
Yeah.
No promises here, though. All right, Isaac, up by 37, only going against Andrews. I think you got it. Congrats. Got a championship there.
Although, not that I think you're going to lose, Isaac, you're going to win, but wouldn't it be the most fitting Week 17 thing for Mark Andrews to drop like 45 this week when nobody you know what I mean? Like, oh, hey, sweet.
No jinxing here. No. I don't think that's possible. Is it possible for tight end to even score that much? Like Mike Evans week? No, it's not going to happen.
No.
All right, so congrats, Isaac, and then Marcos Peru, looking like a champ. Nice. Very nice. That's what we want to hear. All right, what about here? Try 146. I've got the lead. Still have Dobbins and Chase. Algier was huge. Good. I'm glad he came through. Not a monster week, but it was definitely good. Definitely somebody startable. Yeah, especially with Henry out. Look, a lot of people had to pivot. No Henry, no Pollard, no half the quarterbacks in the league. Went up against Saquon, and yeah, I'm on Raw, actually. Let's talk. We didn't talk Detroit, did we? Because Goff had a nice game. And the receivers didn't. It was the tight ends, of course, who keep scoring. But who did have a good week?
Who didn't have a good week? Yeah, but you can't say anything about him. You can't say anything about Amon-Ra St. Brown. No, Amon-Ra St. Brown was awesome. Are you kidding me? League winner, stud. You can't say anything bad about Amon-Ra St. Brown. He was awesome. He was awesome.
What about DeAndre Swift?
Swift actually was awesome today. But again, it's like, week 17. Finally, too late. Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. Richard Chavez, Super Bowl bound. All right, that means you're going to the title game next week. Then you definitely want to stick with us on our live shows and check our videos. We'll be with you all the way to the end. We have some consolation prizes here from Nate, stopping in. Just to congratulate me on the trade. Look, it wasn't just the trade that did it because it was in that league. Yes, Tom Brady helped me a little bit today. Austin Eckler, he came through, I guess. But
yeah, he definitely came
through.
I think
it was predestined.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. B-Raw was a big bust. No.
We were talking about him in the Discord. I don't really know what I'm going to do with Brian Robinson next year because he got 24 carries against the Browns and could barely muster 80 yards. And look, we were talking about in the Discord, and Danny, who I really respect, I think Danny's a sharp guy, was saying well, I think we got to give him a pass because of the shooting. And I'm like, I agree. The problem is Brian Robinson was a plotter in college, and he's looked like a plotter in the NFL. It's not like Brian Robinson was like Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall or one of these guys and then got shot, and you could say okay, he was just a plotter in college, let's be real. And now he looks like a plotter in the NFL. So Brian Robinson is going to be a tough one next year. I mean, I could definitely see him. I mean, I guess Gibson will be back. I don't know. Yeah, Brian Robinson is going to be a tough one to figure out next year for sure.
Yeah, tough to say that he's a guy you really want to count on. Here's the thing is what I was counting on this week was the volume. He got the volume. He got a ton of touches and the bad defense. And Cleveland's run defense isn't good. I guess I didn't count on Carson Wentz being that bad in his first start again. He just kept turning it over. I didn't think he would be that bad. I mean, you can't score when your quarterback keeps throwing interceptions. And B-Rob he was I think 1 inch away from scoring a touchdown, right? He was stopped on that 3rd and goal. He was an inch away from scoring a touchdown. And then, I wouldn't call him a big bust, but
but that's the thing. If you had told me this morning, because I did start Brian Robinson in one league, and if you had told me this morning Brian Robinson's going to get 24 carries, I'd be like, oh, I'm starting him easily. All day I'm starting this guy. Oh well.
Yeah, things don't shake out. All right, Ferrone winning as long as T. Higgins doesn't get 34. I mean, look, crazy things happen, but you should be good. So
Yeah.
we'll say it kind of a tentative congratulations early. All right, let's see. What do you think about this? We hear this all the time. Never sit your studs.
Yeah, well, wish I would have sat JJ and Saquon today.
You can only be so selective with that, because if you would have sat Justin Jefferson today, you would have been happy. I mean, look, it's always easy to say in retrospect, right?
Yeah.
Now, I do think we all agree on this. Need therapy, some therapy after this year.
After every year, it's like the end of the year is always bittersweet for me. Like, on the one hand, I'm like, okay, thank goodness I don't have to like stress about like who's in, who's out, who's hurt, who's doing what, who's doing anything. But then on the other side, it's like, oh man, it's over. It's like,
yeah. Luis Delgado in Chicago winning, I think, by 18, and still has Josh Allen. All right, so sounds like another championship.
Congrats, I like it.
Here. All right, let's see off. What about Etienne?
Yeah, I mean, I liked Etienne this week for sure. I mean, it was the Texans. He had that huge run, right? He had that 62-yard run, and so, which was also kind of why Trevor Lawrence didn't really have to do anything today, because the defense also had a pick six, I believe, or a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and then Etienne had a 62-yard run. So, yeah, went off as expected. Yes.
And then Michael, just saw him this morning. Patreon's been a great experience. Yeah, we're talking about it. We're going to carry it on even through the off season, even though there's no more start sit decisions for a while after next week. Yeah, I mean, look, glad to have you, all our whole Patreon group, everybody, all our viewers. I mean, win or lose, there's always next year, and it's not about just the result, right? It's about the journey, about the fun. If you can't have fun, if you can't enjoy it, then you shouldn't be playing, right? You're not going to win every time, especially in football. I mean, there's so much. Look, let's admit, there's so much flukiness, so much stuff we don't expect. So you got to enjoy it. Ralphie, need his Higgins under 17 to get the championship. What do you think?
It's gonna be a sweat. That's gonna be a sweat, Ralphie, for sure. I mean, it could definitely happen, but it's gonna be a sweat. It's gonna be a sweat.
I mean, everybody is expecting this big, high-scoring game. It very well could happen. Doesn't mean it'll be Higgins doing all the scoring. I mean, yeah, you'll be sweating watching that game, but I think you still have a pretty good chance.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you take credit for this, Chris? Talking about Swift being a league winner, did it come to fruition? Did you speak it into existence?
No, I don't think I ever really no. I mean, look, I had him on the hidden heroes. Like, hey, like I didn't put him on I didn't say you have to start Swift. He's gonna go off this week. I was like, look, if you're desperate, I think Swift has potential this week, because I did like what I saw from Swift last week. A lot of people just look at 5 carries, 4 catches, but I was like, he played 56% of the snaps, which to me signaled that he was healthy, and they were just getting blown out last week, and it was the Bears this week, so I thought Swift definitely had potential. So,
what's crazy that it actually matters is I think Justin Jackson being hurt helped Swift get more touches. Just should not matter, but it did, and game script definitely worked in their favor. Chicago just couldn't put up a fight with their weapons. All right, Ali, what's up, Ali? Happy New Year. Thank you for always being with us. Follow my guts and play to Evans. Nice. It makes me feel a lot better. He has Chase and Freiermuth, 75 points.
I think you're good.
Good.
Even if Chase repeats what he did last year, Freiermuth's going to have to go for 30. I think you're good.
Very good. All right. And Brady, praying on the Bills' downfall. I'm always praying on the Bills' downfall. But let's see. I'm up 6.8. Have T and McPherson. He has Allen, Gabe, and Knox.
That'll probably be a sweat. That'll definitely be a sweat.
I'm not too worried about Gabe and Knox. Josh Allen, yeah. It'll be close. Yeah,
that's definitely going to be a sweat for sure.
All right, what about this
crazy
one?
How many games are going to come down in that Monday night game?
A lot. I'm sure a lot because there's so many players in there that are fantasy relevant. Down 14.5 got Chase. You feel good about that one?
I mean, yes, he should score more than 14.5, but it's fantasy. Like it's fantasy. Like I don't think anybody would have like if I would have told you Justin Jefferson's going for 2.5 today, you would have laughed in my face.
Right.
You'd have been like, I'm never letting you on the show again.
Exactly. You never know. All right. And then Chris, not you, down 24, but have Higgins and Justin Tucker left. Opponent is done. Got a chance for sure.
Definitely got a chance. Gonna be another sweat though. Gonna be another sweat. I don't really know how many points does Tucker get. Like 10.
I mean, he's usually good for a couple of field goals. I mean, he should get you between 8 and 10 points. So yeah, you've got a good shot. All right, and here's better news. Tight lines, got
Nice.
it, got the trophy. You're welcome, and thanks for watching. I mean, that's
Well
what we
done.
want to hear. Chocolate Rain, what is up? Opponent is up by 7, and he has Tucker. I have Diggs and Higgins left. I mean,
your chances. I would say your chances are very strong. Assuming Diggs has a rebound game this week, yeah, your chances are very good. I like Diggs this week, so yeah.
Definitely have a good. I mean, if I had to put money on one side, I'd put it on your side. You never know, but I really don't see Diggs just putting up nothing like he did last week. So,
no.
All right, let's see. All right, we'll get to this one in a second. Bet 787 full PPR. I'm down by 42, but have Burrow and Chase. Opponent has Steelers defense. You like it?
Burrow and Chase, Steelers D. Figure maybe Steelers get like, let's say 8, so you're down 50. You're going to be sweating. It's possible, but you're going to be sweating. It's definitely going to be a sweat tomorrow, right? Because you're going to know. That's the crazy thing is because the Steelers play tonight, right? So you're going to know tomorrow, like, okay, this is how much I need from Burrow and Chase. So, yeah.
I mean, in this case, I probably wouldn't put the money on your side. 50 is kind of a lot. I mean, even if it's not, it's still, 45 probably at least. I mean, you need one of those weeks. Look, it happened last year with Burrow and Chase. Will it happen this year? It's possible. It is possible.
And you never know with defenses, right? Like, I don't think anybody thought the San Francisco defense would get 0 or negative or whatever they got today.
That's true. I mean, look, Devontae Adams put how many points with Jared Stidham at quarterback? Jared Stidham, Adams duo put up more than that. Chase and Burrow could definitely do that. So
yeah,
you've got a good chance. All right, and then let's see. Raquel Santiago got the dub, $800. Nice, because Jefferson getting shut down. See, sometimes it does work in your favor, right? Sometimes the player that gets shut down is the one you wanted to get shut down. That's awesome, though. All right, so this is funny, and Alec Kessler is mad for suggesting that we bench Danny Dimes, but still won the championship, and thanks for the advice. So I'll take that.
Take that.
I did. Look, I'm not going to lie, I didn't see the 2 Daniel Jones rushing touchdowns coming. Didn't think it was coming.
I didn't even see the 2 touchdown passes coming because the Colts, one thing about the Colts defense is they're actually like pretty good against the pass. And they're terrible against the run. Like this had all the makings of a huge Saquon game. This is like, I feel like there's an alternate reality somewhere where like Justin Jefferson went for 300 yards and Saquon went for 200 yards. But in our reality, that didn't happen.
I completely agree and understand what you're saying too. I feel like sometimes I want to travel to that alternate reality. But yeah. I mean, look, Minshew, I think the bigger story is not, Danny Dimes doing what he did against the Colts. Like, okay, maybe that was possible, not multiple rushing touchdowns, but Minshew, that bad against the Saints at home. Like, how's that even possible to be that bad? I mean, he wasn't like horrific, but still for fantasy.
I mean, he was pretty horrific if you watch some of the throws and stuff, and he was pretty horrific. And it's going to be fun, like, next year if he signs with a team, like some desperate team, like, I don't know,
the Colts,
whoever. And people are like, Minshew mania.
Yeah. Just remember the Uncle Rico comp, not just the mustache. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also Alec Kessler. I'm a Heat fan since the 80s. Alec Kessler was a center for the Miami Heat back in the early 90s. We'll never forget you, Alec. All right. Jason Rodriguez is up 10. They have Ravens D, but I have Chase. I think you're in a good spot for sure.
Yeah, I think you're in a good spot because, I mean, even if the Ravens D score 10, like, okay, you're tied with Chase. Yeah, like your chances. Like your chances.
But it says looking to next week, which teams will rest players? Well, hey, we have you covered for next week, so don't think we're giving up on you. A lot of people still playing to the end. Don't worry, we will be here for you. All right. And, I think this is probably the second best comment. Besides fantasy football is pain and we all need therapy. Hindsight is always a perfect 2020, isn't it?
2020. Yep. Hindsight, the best.
There was a comment I didn't read earlier with somebody about, we should have known that Tampa Bay was going to be okay. Of course we knew that. Now it's easy to say, go ahead and say that before the game, not after the game, but it's fine. It happens. Okay, let's get this one. Joshua, you've been with us the last few weeks. My team will be eliminated, trailing big time. You have Singletary, Diggs, and McPherson. Yeah, but that's still a big deficit.
Yeah, because I mean, what are you down? Like 60? Like you need like 30 from Diggs and Singletary, basically. Like, you need a miracle. Gonna take a miracle, definitely.
Take a miracle. We'll be pulling for you, Roberto. If you're watching, bring out the candles, light them up. But hey, you never know. Let's see. You know what? This is also a very compelling comment. Nate, wise as always. It just means you need to be more dynasty leagues. Look at dynasty. Season's never over because you start trading, start looking ahead to the rookie drafts, and I don't know. I actually enjoy my dynasty leagues more than my redraft leagues. I don't know.
I enjoyed my dynasty league until this week, where I traded, making a run, traded for Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins, and Travis Kelce. Yep,
it happens. Which, by the way, a reminder again.
Now I'm stuck with these three old dudes I didn't even win.
And by the way, Nate, appreciate the trade offer. And some more wisdom. Nate dropping the knowledge gems tonight. Everyone who isn't in the Discord is making a mistake. Ouch. All right. For the record, it is worth it. And by the way, it's definitely worth it because it's free. So it literally costs you nothing but a few seconds of your time. And the game day discussion channel was always interesting during Sunday. All right. Let's see what else. All right, here we go. Another dub. Mr. Cross-Examiner going to win championship for the first time.
Nice. Awesome. Congratulations.
All right. And then Chris, what's up? Chris KD, our guy who is probably wearing his Najee jersey as we speak. Down by 11. I have Chase. Opponent is done. I mean, I'd be pretty confident.
Yeah, I mean, as confident as you can probably be in fantasy football, right? Because until he hits that 11 mark, you're always going to be like sweating, right? You're going to be like, come on. But yeah, I would definitely be putting money on you for sure.
Yeah, 11 points, Chase. I would think so. Of course, it's not in the bag. Like, don't pop the champagne yet. But should feel, I think, pretty good. Yeah. And we're definitely doing that, right? That defense and kicker only league next year. You're on that?
Yeah, because let's just make fantasy football more painful.
It's painful enough already. Why not go full pain? William is up 41 and got Chase, but his opponent has basically everyone else good playing. Your opponent has Mixon, Diggs, Allen, and Buffalo defense.
This is going to be a sweat. I mean,
I'm not even going to wager a guess on that one. I don't know.
Yeah, that's just going to be a Monday night sweat. And I did see this from Nate. This actually, I don't know if I think you have something going on tomorrow. I think you said, because we usually do our filming.
Yeah, I'll be out of pocket tomorrow night.
But I might. This isn't a bad idea, Nate. I might hop on tomorrow. We usually Pierre and I get together on Mondays and we do some filming. So when we're done, I might hop on, and anybody who wants to come sweat out their matchups during the game, hop on in. Put in there what you need, and we can sweat it all out together.
There you go. And yeah, if you're William, I might just not watch that game with my opponent having like 4 different players on there. But otherwise, yeah, you should probably be on there watching. So there you go. Look for it. And again, guys, you hit the notification bell as soon as we go live. Anytime it happens, which is multiple times a week, you'll know and you can hop on with us.
Yeah.
OKJ for life. Half point need. Davis, McKenzie, and Deontay against Diggs.
I think you got to go Gabe Davis, especially in half PPR. Like Deontay Johnson in half PPR, he's a floor play in PPR. That's it. McKenzie, sure, McKenzie can always pop off, but you never know what's going to come. I mean, I guess Gabe's kind of the same way, but at least Gabe has that big play potential. So I think you got to go Gabe here.
Yeah, Davis still has more upside than McKenzie. Deontay just doesn't score touchdowns. I mean, yeah, Gabe is the choice here. You never know; could happen. Don't know what your margin of in your matchup is, but good luck. All right, and then Lanny Navitka already wrapped up one. Have a 35-point lead in the other. Very nice. You have Steelers. They have Allen and Chase.
Gonna be a sweat. It's gonna be a sweat. I mean, hopefully the Steelers D comes through with a nice game tonight, gives you a bit more of a cushion. But yeah, definitely gonna be a sweat for you tomorrow.
Yeah. Again, it's not just that they have 2 players. They have the QB1 and one of the best receivers in the league. So, well, you do have a good shot. You have a decent shot. You have an okay shot. All right. Daniel, 11, on the verge of winning 2 leagues. Very nice. And ASM 28 won the ship. Opponent had Cousins and Jefferson's. Hey.
There you go. Playing good defense.
Sometimes better to be lucky than good. In fact, almost always. And then Luis got the championship thanks to Mike Evans. That makes me feel better too.
Thanks to Mike Evans.
Oh, very nice. All right, this is even better. This one does make me feel good. Not only he had Evans in there, but Richie James over Christian Kirk. That's a guy that came through, right? We mentioned him on the booms, I think it was.
The hidden heroes. I think it was the hidden heroes.
Yeah. He definitely came through. He had a big game.
Huge game.
Very nice. Let's see. Got Mary Jo. First week of a 2-week combined championship. And look, I'll tell you, I'm all about this next year. We need to make our in-game leagues these 2-week things for the championship. Now, I don't know if I would make it the last 2 weeks, right? Do you think it would be like a week 16, 17 thing?
I don't even know, because look at it. Almost feels like week 18 is safer than week 17. Like you got the Jags kind of sort of playing their guys. You got the Titans resting Derrick Henry. You got teams where it's like this game doesn't really matter because it's all about next week when they play that divisional opponent or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I'd probably want it to be 17 still. But
week 15, 16.
I almost feel like going back to week 16. Like screw these week 17s and week 18s. Just go back to week 16.
Hey. That's how it used to be, right? Before week 17 was the last week, week 16 championship. Just keep it week 16. Anyways. All right. So Mary Jo's up by 36. Have Allen, but she has Chase and Knox. Left Swift on the bench. Look, that's okay. I mean, look, there's no way you can predict touchdowns. Swift 2 touchdowns. Swift getting used, like actually getting used. So that's okay. But you're up 36 and got Allen. I think you well, I guess you don't have it in the bag because you still have a 2-week thing, right?
Yeah, but I think Mary, you'll still have a decent lead going into next week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you'll go into next week with a lead, probably double-digit lead, unless Chase just goes off. So, yeah, stick with us. Yeah, we'll help you with next week's lineup for sure. Hopefully, bring home that championship. Ram is up 5. He has Burrow left. I have Diggs and Chase.
I mean, I would say no, but yeah, it's like I mean, you're going to be sweating. You're going to be sweating. Like, you know.
And I mean, assuming 4 points per passing touchdown, Burrow.
Yeah. I mean, you should win. You should win. But I mean, if you look at like, you know, it depends. You know, does Diggs rebound? Does Chase have a big game? Do all the touchdowns go to Trenton Irwin again this week? You know what I mean? Like, but you should win. You should win.
I think so. I would go with your side, but again, you never know how this works, right? Burrow throws a ton to Higgins. I mean, who knows? But I'm not going to wish that. We're pulling for you.
Yes.
Daniel Orton up 170 to 81. Yeah, I think you're good if I'm reading that correctly.
I mean, unless Burrow and Higgins are going for 90, you're good.
All right. So I think for this one we can preemptively say, pop the cork. I think you got it. I think you got a victory here.
Definitely.
All right, then Sharath up 36. He has Diggs and Chase left. Any chance of winning?
I mean, there's a chance. It's gonna be another sweat, right? It's gonna come down to like, do these guys have big Week 17 games or not? So
it's so hard to say either way with these guys. They both are capable of monster games.
Yeah,
but it's definitely not a sure thing. So it's going to be a tight one. That's for sure. This one will be very tight. What about here? We got John Carballo up 30. I have Burrow and he has Higgins.
Yeah, you're good.
I mean,
you're good.
Is it even possible? I don't think it's possible for you to lose.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think the math, because even if Higgins catches 4 touchdowns, they're all coming from Joe Burrow. So, yeah, you're good.
And then what about Peyton? Up 20, half T. He has Josh Allen.
I think your chances are good. It's probably going to be like a mini sweat. I would say like a mini sweat. I mean,
All right, that's good. Like
even if Allen goes for 30 tomorrow, let's say,
like a couple of beads of sweat, just like right here.
Yeah. Like not like not like the Key and Peele gif where it's just like pouring down his face, but just like little beads here,
Okay.
But like even if Allen goes for 30, you still only need like 11 from T. So I like your chances. Mini sweat.
Yeah, I think you should be pretty good, but man, you never know with Josh Allen. I mean, this could be one of those games where he's a guy who puts up 40-something, 50 points, but
yeah, it's true.
We'll see. I mean, I think probably the most disappointing thing about that game might be if it isn't like 30, 40 points on each side, right? Everyone's expecting all these points to go pouring in. And you know this, Chris, like especially because we did these best ball drafts. We do a lot of best ball in the offseason, which, by the way, is another good thing to plug now because, look, if you guys are celebrating a championship, you're like, season, great season, season's over. Okay, so we're getting ready for next season. We'll be drafting for the playoffs. We're drafting for next season. We're going to be doing best ball drafts like the minute they open, especially an underdog, which, by the way, anybody who's not in underdog, and you can do pick'ems, you can do weekly drafts, playoff, best ball, everything. So if you're not in underdog, check underdog, and you, of course, use promo code Endgame if you're a new user. But we're going to do best ball. So many best ball drafts were focused on this week, right? That was the whole thing, like reverse engineering. And it was like, okay, who's going to win in the final week? And everyone circled this game, Bengals and Bills, right?
Yep.
So everyone was stacking, right? And especially Josh Allen and Gabe Davis, Burrow and Higgins, all this stuff. I mean, like, do you think it's going to pay off?
I don't know. Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, it should, right? I hope so, because it's always more enjoyable when the games are high scoring and they live up to it. But I mean, we've already had some huge performances, like from guys like Daniel Jones, Mike Evans. Like Daniel Jones might be the QB1 this week. Mike Evans probably going to be the highest score, or maybe Tom Brady. Maybe Tom Brady outscored. I'm not even sure. Mike Evans probably going to be the highest scoring non-QB, almost certainly. So,
we'll see if it pays off. I haven't even checked my best ball teams. I don't want to know until after it's all said and done. Too aggravating. All right. And then Farone also says, as long as T. Higgins doesn't get 34, I win my final. Etienne definitely helped. Swift definitely helped. Very nice. By the way, guys, if you do need any favors, any acts of God, Roberto is actively lighting candles, even considering just lighting his whole house on fire, just as a sacrifice for you, the people, the Endgame community.
Yes.
That's very nice, Roberto. You might want to check with your wife on that first, though. I don't know how she feels about that.
Make sure they're at least out of the house.
Yeah, there you go. And the dogs, too.
Yeah.
I think you should be okay here. I don't know. What do you think? Up almost 100 points going against the Pittsburgh defense, George Pickens and Dawson Knox.
Yeah, unless you have some weird, because you have 211 points. So you either had like Mike Evans, Austin Eckler, Tom Brady, right? You just had all the monsters, or your league has some weird scoring. But even still, like, what kind of weird scoring could there be where Pickens, Knox, and Pittsburgh combine for almost 100 points? I think you're good.
If there's a league that exists, then you should probably just quit that league. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you can celebrate. You definitely got it.
Yeah.
All right, then Edgar in standard up 40. Very nice. Higgins, but the opponent has Burrow and Singletary.
Yeah, and standard scoring. I mean, 40 points in standard scoring it's like 100 points in PPR. It's such a huge lead. I mean, he does have his QB still, but even still, I mean, I think you're good.
And again, they would need Burrow to go off and have a huge game with Higgins doing nothing. So unlikely. And Singletary having a big game. What are the chances? I mean, he could. Look, he had a nice game last week, but still, you should be pretty good. Yeah, Garrett Wilson, don't know what happens. Well, I do know. It's Mike White isn't as good as everybody thought.
Yeah, exactly.
And Joseph Massey just saying, nice. Thanks for all the help. Won my championship. That's why we do it. This is exactly why we're here, guys. And we'll still be here next week and, of course, next season. So don't worry. We got plenty still planned. Don't stop with the fantasy football obsession. Yes, it's an obsession. It's not a hobby. It's an obsession. You're here watching us, then you know what I'm talking about. All right. So, look, we're already looking ahead. I'm watching, and I know, Chris, you were watching those bowl games last night, right? And it's different because it's not like you're just watching as a fan. You're like, oh, that was a nice game. You're like, oh, man, I wonder what round Martin Harrison Jr. is going to go when he's, in my Dynasty draft. And it's like, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Handsome. Very angry at DK. Well, I mean, I didn't say like complete no way you can start him, but I definitely didn't like him. Down. Wow. By fractions of a fraction of a point with Gabe Davis left, hoping for a fumble and game-ending injury. So your opponent has Gabe Davis left.
Your opponent, if they were smart, would bench Gabe Davis.
Yes, they would.
There's no style points here, but maybe you'll get lucky and he'll fumble and get benched or something. Let's not wish a game-ending injury on anybody, but maybe he'll fumble and get benched or something. But yeah, if your opponent's smart, they should bench Gabe Davis and just take the ugly win. Although I guess technically there could be a stat correction, but that's very
well, that's true. There could. I'm not a fan of benching. I mean, look, how often do players get negative points? And if so, maybe it would be a running back who get a negative carry. But yeah, I would probably do that too. Man,
I more so do it with defenses, right? If I'm winning and I only have my defense left, I will absolutely bench. Unless I'm like just up huge, but I will absolutely bench my defense for sure.
Yeah, defenses definitely can't count on them. Look at the Niners defense. And then, that's the worst kind of loss. It really is. You'd rather just get blown out. You'd rather, your opponent just had a monster week and you couldn't do anything about it. So, but that's fantasy football, right? That's the randomness of it. And that's why we'd love to hate it or hate to love it. I think maybe hate to love it. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And we have a cameo from Kid Cudi.
All right.
Big fantasy football fan, apparently. Down 10, I have Mixon, Higgins, Bass. They have Allen and Najee. Should you be worried?
Probably a little. Because you're already spotting them 10. I don't expect a big Najee game, but I mean, he'll do a little something. Allen, you never know. Yeah, probably got to be a little. You're definitely going to be sweating tomorrow for sure. This will definitely be a sweat pouring down the face kind of sweat. I think
A healthy sweat.
a very healthy sweat. Yes.
I mean, I like Mixon better than Najee. I will say that. Bass, you can hope that maybe he kind of wipes out that 10-point deficit or at least close to it. Is Higgins going to outscore Allen? So
yeah,
you should be worried. Yeah, to answer your question, you should be worried, but don't give up. You still definitely have a chance. You never know, right? You never know. And what about this Josh Allen question? Opponent has Josh Allen left. I'm up 24.
Now this is a sweat. This is a serious sweat. Like, yeah. I don't know about that one.
I think it's still in play. I think I feel a little better about this one than the other one. Yeah, good point. You do lose calories while you sweat, so that's what makes fantasy football like exercise.
There you go.
I need Kenny Pickett to score less than 7 points.
I mean, he could definitely do that, but yeah. Maybe he'll have like one of those Kenny Pickett 3 interception games or something.
Hey, there was that one game he left after the first play of the game. I mean,
true.
Concussions happen. Not that we hope it doesn't happen, but I hope he scores 6.5 points just for your benefit, Mike. Just for you.
Yeah, because I don't think anybody out there is counting on Kenny Pickett tonight, so we can all root against Kenny Pickett tonight.
Yeah, good point. I wonder how many people even have Kenny Pickett in play on either side of a fantasy.
It's got to be one of the few matchups that's coming down to Kenny Pickett this week for sure.
All right, and then I think, that's it. All right. Let's end with a tough one because fantasy football is like this. Chase or Higgins?
I mean, you got to say Chase. You got to say Chase, I think. But we've seen, like, it can go either way here. But I think you got to go Chase.
Yeah. If I had to pick, I would go Chase too. In the big game, that's probably the guy I'll go to more. It could go either way, and that's the thing with fantasy. You just don't know. When you think you know, you don't know. But that's what makes it fun. All right. Well, it's almost game time. Guys, join us on Tuesday night, as always, Saturday night, as usual, and possibly even tomorrow night might be a live stream during the game for everyone while you're sweating. Break out the towels and the Gatorade. Sweating it out, hoping to win some more championships. But congrats to everybody who has already won, and stick with us. We'll be here all through this week and, of course, in the off season. All right, guys, good luck for the rest of week 17.